Hey, it's Eileen. In today's article, can the world produce enough cobalt for electric vehicles? The main source for cobalt, as it says right here, the Democratic Republic of Congo, which is currently undergoing a somewhat major Ebola outbreak. So the article reads, the only thing that can accelerate as fast as an electric car is the price of the most expensive metal in its batteries. Once a niche input used to strengthen turbine blades, cobalt's value has soared since it started to feature in modern electronics. Most phones need a few grams worth, and every car requires 5 to 10 kilograms. That adds up. Many business models are based on ample reservoirs of cobalt that experts warn do not exist. Soaring demand for a commodity is usually met by vaulting investment to ensure supply. Cobalt's case is somewhat different. Nearly all of it is obtained as a byproduct of mined nickel and copper. Even the sharp rise in cobalt's price thus far has not been enough to justify fresh investment in digging more nickel and copper out of the ground. Worse, most of it is in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where neat models of supply and demand count for little. Most incremental demand for cobalt comes from car makers, which have invested around $100 billion in electric vehicle technology. According to one estimate, by 2030, at least as much of the stuff will be needed for transport alone as was mined in 2017. America has designated a critical mineral. The expected demand spike assumes both a rapid rise in EVs, electric vehicles, which is likely, but also continued dependence of batteries on cobalt, which is less certain. Battery technology is evolving. Some need less or no cobalt. Tesla, an electric car maker, is among those saying it is aiming to achieve close to zero usage of cobalt, helping derail a rally in the metals price this year. In part, Tesla is responding to concerns about how this stuff is sourced. Several NGOs have started to put pressure on tech firms to ensure their gizmos are free of conflict cobalt. The bit of Congo where metal is mined is mostly peaceful, but tensions in the country persist, fueled by money from mining. Perhaps a quarter of production is done by artisanal miners, meaning local people working on a small scale. Sometimes they operate on the territory of big miners. We take shovels, torches, hammers, picks, and wire cutters to make a hole in the fence, says Paul, one such miner in Kawama, near Glencore's operations. We usually go to the miner around 10 p.m. If we don't get caught, we'll stay there digging until dawn. Cobalt traders, many of whom are Chinese, will buy a night's output for $40, a small fortune by local standards. Some groups think artisanal mining can help bridge the gap between supply and demand. Efforts are afoot to clean it up, for example, by designated permitted areas, but that will not be enough to ensure the ample supplies are needed. A few other places, such as Australia, have small amounts of cobalt, but the biggest source is even trickier than Congo to explore. Leagues below the high seas, much of the floor of the Pacific Ocean is lined with nodules rich in cobalt. If there's not enough in the ground, going underwater is the logical next step. And that's the end of the article. Thought this was a pretty interesting one to take a look at. Just once again, because I saw something about the Ebola outbreak in the Congo. But yeah, this is basically the new format of video I will be doing on this channel. I tried to do gaming news, but then I immediately remembered why I hated it. So yeah, as always, drink some Styling.